Hey, hi, Sayan. Good morning.
Hi, Kushbu. Yeah, morning.
Hi. So I can see that still people are joining, so we can just wait for 2, 3 minutes more and then we can quickly start. Okay, all right. So I can see it's already 11. So should we start, Sayan? You're ready? Sayan, am I audible? All right, great. So, hi everyone, good morning. Once again, a very warm welcome and thanks everyone for joining in. So, today's webinar topic is use Tableau to build a dream fantasy team in Dream 11. So, again, I'd like to welcome everyone. This side Khushbu. I work with the program team in upGrad. And talking about today's speaker, we have Sayan Day. So I'll move ahead with the introduction of Sayan. So Sayan is a BTech graduate from Institute of Engineering and Management. Later, he did his post-graduation diploma in management itself from IIM Bangalore. So he started his career back in 2010 as a software development intern with the organization called IBM. And now he's currently working with Walmart as a consultant. So that's all about today's speaker. I'd like to welcome Sayan. Thanks for having this opportunity with us. Yeah. So before we start, yeah, all right. So before we start ahead, people, I am launching one poll. I'll request everyone to just go through with the poll once so that we can quickly start with the webinar. I've launched the poll. This poll consists of a basic question like your education background, your work experience, so that we can have a bit clarity what kind of crowd we have for today's morning. So those who have newly joined, I have launched one poll. Please take your 20 seconds to fill it quickly. Yeah, I can see only 10%, yeah, 30% people have participated in the poll. Rest everyone, those who are remaining with it, please, I'll request quickly go through with the poll once so that we can quickly start with the web. All right, I can see Sanjay Behra is done with this poll. Great. I can see still 15% people are left with the poll. Those who have newly joined, I have raised one poll. Please take out your 20 seconds to fill in that poll. And then also, I'll share the poll results with you. So even you can have a look like what kind of crowd
Yeah,
we had
sure,
for today's morning. Yeah.
sure, yeah.
All right. People are still filling the poll. And also one thing I would like to highlight, like while if we start the webinar, right? So people, you will be having doubts and questions or queries, right? So please do raise your doubts, queries or questions in the Q&A forum only, not in the chat section, because in the chat section, if you'll raise, it might get missed. So if you'll raise your queries in Q&A forum, so Sayan can pick from there. All right. All right. People are replying that they have done with the poll. Great. I'll be ending the poll in next 30 seconds. Those who have newly joined, I have raised one poll. Please take out your 20 seconds and fill that poll quickly so that we can start. All right. So I am ending the poll. So please have a look on the results.
Right, yes. So, thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. I think what we are able to see is a lot of you, most of you, almost everybody is either a graduate or a postgraduate kind of an audience that we have. And from a experience perspective, we are able to see we have largely a huge proportion of people who are freshers, and also around 20% of folks are in the 2 to 5 experience range. Uh, Mostly, we have an audience which consists of freshers today, and up to 5 years experience, which is also good. But still, we do have some diversity. Uh, we also have, uh, again, mostly people who are from a professional work domain who are freshers. We do have folks from data science, management, engineering, and software development, but again, a large majority of the audience today uh, do consist of freshers. Okay, that's great, guys. So thank you once again for being a part of the session. Uh, and yeah, so Krishna, I think the session will be in English. So I think we will be conducting the session in English. I hope you're okay with the language of communication. Uh, all right. And once again, I really welcome all of you to this session. It's a pleasure and an honor to be part of this session. We're discussing a very interesting topic, and I'm sure the World Cup fever is on. Everybody is probably celebrating Argentina's victory yesterday. I don't know how many of you Argentina fans are there, but it was a very close finish we had with Netherlands. So let me done a quick poll here in the audience. How many, what all teams you guys are supporting today? Before we start off with Tableau and other things, now that we have the semifinals, who are the what are the top teams you're supporting? And then we'll do some FIFA analysis and see from a data perspective where we end up getting. Of course, Lionel Messi analysis on all we will do. Okay, it's all between Argentina, Portugal. That is pitting the two of the world's best players, Ronaldo and Messi. Okay. Okay. France. All right, that's good. Good to see France also coming up. Wonderful. Because I think parallelly we're getting one more poll. Almost everybody is supporting Argentina today. All right. So thank you once again for being a part of the session. So let's quickly get started with the contents of the session. Today, we will be picking up a data set, a live data set from the FIFA website. I'll be quickly pinging the link to the data set with the audience. And one of the other important things about the session will be I would like everybody to be a part of the class. So these sessions are very different. They're very core hands-on sessions that we run. And the whole idea of these sessions is we want everybody to be part of the process. This is not a process where I teach you and I talk and you listen, but these are a series of sessions where we all want you to participate. And given how interesting this data set is, we want you to go over this data set and we want you to learn certain data science concepts. And in today's session, certain Tableau concepts by picking up a data set, which I'm sure everybody enjoys and loves. Okay. Now, one very important prerequisite for this session is you must know what is football. Now, again, jokes apart, there can be certain games that people may not understand. There are certain rules of the game you may not know. Like, for example, I do not know baseball and I do not know, let's say, golf as a game. So, a very, very important thing, you must at least have some basic understanding of the soccer game. And at least you should have some basic understanding on players and teams and all that. At least a very basic understanding. I'm not asking everybody to be experts, but even if you do not, you'll still be able to follow along. From a concept perspective, people will still be able to follow along, but it will be good to have some prior understanding of, let's say, what is the forward and what is the goal and what is the penalty. At least some basic jargons, if you understand, will be good to have. Okay. And this is an extremely important thing to understand when we are working on data science projects, because the domain knowledge is an extremely key aspect in data science. You must have the right amount of domain knowledge. If we don't have the right amount of domain knowledge, uh, the solutions will be very difficult to build. So having the right domain knowledge is extremely important to have in a real world scenario. So with all the technical knowledge, with all the concepts that we end up building, so you need to apply those concepts in real world problems. And whenever you're applying those concepts on real world problems, like for today, we are applying our concepts on the FIFA dataset. We need to understand soccer as a game and some basic rules. What's a penalty? What's a goal? What's a save? Who is a goalkeeper? Who is a forward? Who is a defender? Who is a midfielder? At least some of those basic jargons is something that you're expected to understand, right? And I wanted to also give you one small analogy with this entire thing. So normally, most of you I can see in this audience, you're freshers, and most of you are coming from, you do not have much of experience. And as you step into the corporate world, as most of you are stepping into the corporate world, and I'm sure the experienced professionals can also relate to me on that. As you step into the corporate world, you will ensure you will basically see that for all the technical knowledge that you have, for all the tools and for all the Python and the programming and all that you learn, the domain will also be a very, very important aspect. So please get rid of the fear of programming and get rid of the fear of technology from your heads. Technology is actually a good thing to have. Technology is basically assisting you in solving the problem, but the most important problem is your domain. You can be from a finance domain, you can be from a sports domain, you can be from an energy domain, a healthcare domain. So you need to have a very, very rich understanding of your data, right? Okay, so on that note, I'm going to quickly share my screen and start on. I'll be sharing the data set once again. Yes, I'll just quickly do that once again. All right. All right, so Kushbu already did a very good introduction about me. I'll just quickly share my LinkedIn profile as well with the audience. This is myself, and once again, it's a absolute pleasure and an absolute honor to be for me to be addressing all of you. And just a general, profile about myself. Uh, Talking about data science, I'll spend 2 minutes to talk about what data science is and what the data science life cycle actually is, and then we'll straight away jump onto Tableau. We'll talk about what Tableau is, and I will straight away start with the analysis on Tableau. Okay, in the process of analysis, I'm expecting the audience in this case does not have any understanding of Tableau, which is absolutely fine. And as we go along this data set, I'll try to brief you on certain parts of Tableau. Now, this is not a session where I teach you Tableau, but I'm pretty sure that by the time we close the session, I want to make sure that everybody in this audience feels comfortable of taking data and visualizing data using Tableau. You may not be experts at it, but you can be. But I can assure you that you will go from 0 to 6 in this particular session. So that's what we are primarily trying to achieve. Okay. All right. And of course, build interest about soccer and get you interested with the interesting data set. So talking a little bit about data science, this is effectively what the life cycle of a typical data science project looks like. So one important thing to understand when we talk about data science is what data science actually is. So data science is nothing but the process of getting raw and dirty data and the process of converting raw and dirty data into information or insights. That's what we refer to as data science. It is the process of starting with raw dirty data and converting that raw dirty data into information or insights. So there are lots and lots of different jargons that we use as part of data science. We use the term data science, analytics, data mining, statistics. All these terms basically go hand in hand. Ultimately, all that we are trying to do is we are starting off with raw dirty data and we are converting our raw dirty data into a structured format into a clean into information, because from the raw dirty data we cannot process any information. So how do we take that entire data, how do we clean it, how do we pre-process it, how do we basically let's say handle outliers, remove missing values, all of those different types of processing we do, and we extract information or insights out of it. So a very simple example of data science could be, let's say you're a manager working for a product manager working for a small startup company. Okay, and you have this data set that you get weekly. You have your product sales data that comes in weekly in an Excel file. I'll just give a simple example. You're a product manager working for a startup, and every week you get a report from all your region leads spread across the country. And one thing to go back and do is, let's say you go back and collate all that information and you try to create a dashboard out of it. So that Excel file that you're getting, because let's say there are four regions in the country that you have. You have the northern region, the southern region, the eastern region, and the western region. These are the four parts of the country that you have, and there are leads who are sending you Excel files from all these four regions. So Excel file 1, Excel file 2, Excel file 3, Excel file 4. So these four Excel files are sitting in your inbox right now. That is raw, dirty data. There is nothing I can get with those Excel files. What will I know from those Excel files? How has my product sold? There is nothing I can get. It's a very simple example of data science I'm trying to give you. So as part of the process of data science, what you can do is you can use different tools. Tableau that we are learning today is one such example of a tool that we have. So we can use a tool like Tableau. We can take the data from those four different Excel files. We can combine that entire data into the overall pan-India data set. And then from that, we can create some interesting visualizations out of it. So the process of taking that raw Excel file data, the process of converting that data into a singular Excel file and creating different types of visualizations using that particular data like bar charts, pie charts, histograms, and all that. That is what we refer to as data science. Okay. And now that when we create a bar chart, we can probably find information like, hey, I think from the northern region, my product sales are very high. Or another great example of an insight or information that you can drive could be, okay, year on year, over the last 5 years, the sales of the particular product has really increased. That could be a very good example of what we are doing in data science, right? So this is basically what the entire process looks like. And this is pretty much what I wanted to just kind of cover in a nutshell what we also discuss all through our programs. When we teach data science, this is what we pretty much do, the entire end-to-end process. The step one is what we refer to as data discovery. Data discovery is the process where you try to figure out your business problem, you try to frame your business problem, and you try to basically lay down the data sources that you have. Okay, so step one is basically step one is what we refer to as data discovery. Once again, I repeat, in data discovery, what we do is we basically define the problem statement. Okay, in data discovery, we go back and define the problem statement, and we go back and we go back and define the requirements. That is what we do as part of step one. Okay, I repeat again. In step one, what we do is we go back and define the problem statement. And after defining the problem statement, we state the requirements, and then we also assess our data sources. We figure out, okay, these are the different sources we can take our data from. In our case, in the case of the sales manager says that, hey, I can take some data from the Excel file 1, Excel file 2, Excel file 3, and Excel file 4. Then we go back and look at something called data ingestion. Data ingestion is the process where we go back and read our data from all these different sources. That's what we refer to as data ingestion. Then we go back and look at a process called data wrangling. Data wrangling typically goes with many different terms. Sometimes people call it data wrangling. We call it data cleaning, data transformation, data pre-processing. These are the different jargons that we use. But broadly, by and large, we are referring to one and only one thing, which is effectively it's the process of taking that raw dirty data and converting that raw dirty data into a clean process format. That is typically what we do as part of data wrangling. It is the process of taking that raw dirty data and it is converting that raw dirty data into a clean processed format. Okay, so a good example of this could be, I'll give an example. Let's say we are looking at region-wise data. Okay, region-wise product sales data. You might actually find that a particular product is not relevant for your business. So a good example of data wrangling will be that when the sales manager or the product manager is analyzing that particular data, he or she just removes that particular row from the analysis. That's a good example of data wrangling that we can do. Okay. Then we come to the fourth step. After we have the clean data, we come to the fourth step, which is the process where we explore our data or we perform EDA on our data. We perform exploratory analysis on our data. We go back and look at our data and try to analyze the patterns. And from there onwards, the entire modeling part starts where we come to steps 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where we start building machine learning predictive models on our data, right? So a good example of this could be the sales manager gets his data, converts it into a clean format, joins the data coming from the four different regions, does some basic exploratory analysis using different types of visualizations, bar charts, scatter plots, trend charts, line charts, which tells you that, hey, over the last 1 year, I can see my northern region sales has gone up, my southern region sales has gone down. These are some very interesting patterns you can drive from step 4. And step 5 onwards, you're driving predictive analytics. This is the part where we are trying to predict what will happen next year. Okay. Or let's say for a company like Walmart, they are trying to predict, hey, how much sales we will get in the month of December. Something of that sort we are starting to do from steps 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the part which is the more advanced part. Okay. And the focus of today's session obviously is primarily lying in step number 4. So this is the part where we have already defined our problem statement. So the data discovery is we are trying to analyze FIFA player rankings data to identify the top players so that we can create a good team. And this is the part where I will need all your all your participation. Obviously people will have very different views, I know, but still we'll try to do a very objective analysis. Then we come to data ingestion. We directly have a CSV file which I'll be sharing with you over a drive link. I'll do that. I'll share the data set also with you. So we will ingest our data. We will do some data pre-processing, but for this particular exercise, it is basically already a clean data. Okay, because we understand that data pre-processing is something that takes a tremendous amount of time. In a typical data science workflow, you are looking at 9 different steps right now. The third step is something that we spend a tremendous amount of time on. Okay, and it's also the most boring part actually. This is the part where you write a lot of code and you try to go back and clean your data. But obviously Python is not the intent of today's session. So it is assumed that in step 3, our data is already pre-processed. Okay, a good example of data pre-processing could be, I'll give you one small example. Okay, I'll just give you one small example from my file. Okay, a very simple example I'll give you. Let's say this is the football data set. I'll share this also with all of you. So I'll try to give you a very simple example of what data pre-processing could mean. All of you can see, all of you can take a look at it. Look at this one. This is contract end year. Can you see that, all of you? So a very good example of data. This is real world data. It's completely factual real world data we are seeing. So these are different players we have, right? You've got Lionel Messi, you've got Pogba, you've got this one Van Dijk, okay, Sergio Busquets, right? These are all top players. I think I'm sure everybody understands these players, right? So this is every single row corresponds to one player each. And if you go back to this particular column, there is a particular column called contract end year. Where was that column? This is the contract end year column. And look at this one. All the values here are in years, right? We expect all the values to be in years, but one particular value has June 30, 2019. This is a great example of dirty data. So data in the real world will not always be in the right format. This data has been taken right from the website, right from the official website. And you can very clearly see that right from there itself, oftentimes the data that we end up getting will not be in the right format. So as part of data pre-processing, as part of the data wrangling phase, what we have to do is we have to go back and take this entire data and kind of remove this entire part before the comma and convert it into only the year form. So that is what we will do as part of data pre-processing. But it is assumed that in our current data set, we already have the clean data. So some of these problems are there, but largely our data is a clean data set. So our prime focus is basically data exploration. So now, without any further ado, let's move on and let's quickly come back and uh, let's quickly come back and we'll take a look at our problem statement. And in the meantime, what I will also do, this is basically kaggle.com. The link which I just now shared with the audience, I can understand that some of you have also joined the session now. So I'll quickly go back and share this dataset also with you. The website is kaggle.com. Kaggle is a wonderful a place where you get to see and work on different types of data sets, different types of hackathons and competitions are conducted. A quick show of hands in the audience. How many of you know about Kaggle? Just a quick show of hands. If people have heard of Kaggle before, let me see. Mostly, how many of you have heard of Kaggle? Yes, no. Just a quick check with the audience. So Kaggle is like a community of data scientists. So given that all of you in this audience are passionate about data science, so Kaggle is like a community. It's like an open source community of data scientists from across the world. So people contribute different data sets. Let's say you're working for a company like Zomato. If you're working for a company like Zomato, you'll want to publish some open source data about Zomato. So people publish different data sets across organizations. People conduct hackathons. People conduct competition. That's what Kaggle basically is. So we are looking at a similar data set on FIFA player ratings data from Kaggle. Now to access this data set, you will have to log into Kaggle. Now, this is an exercise that everybody can do later on in the session. But for the time being, what I will do, I will quickly set up a Google Drive link for you, and I'll try to quickly share across this data set over a Drive link. Okay. Others, if you already have access, it will take hardly a minute of your time to sign into Kaggle. But that's okay. You can sit back, you can relax, and while I just quickly share the Google Drive link with all of you, and you can simply access this data set over a Drive link. I'll quickly do that in a minute. And as you go through this data set, a couple of things I would like to clarify, and in fact, a few important things I would like to also ping you. This particular website might help you because this will have information about different abbreviations in the world of football, right? So I think as I'm sharing this data set, this will probably help all of you a little. You can probably go through this thing a little. What are the different types of positions we have in the world of football? Okay, so this is something that you can all go through in the meantime. I'll just try to make it a little small and try to show you the whole thing. And I'll just take a minute here to publish this data set. Okay. Yeah. Don't have to worry about all the jargons. I know this sounds a little complicated. I think the seasoned FIFA professionals will know everything. If you're a regular FIFA player or if you're even into video games and all, I'm sure people will relate to it. But that's okay. Even if you do not understand all the ideas, it's absolutely fine. Just follow along. That's what matters. Okay. So do not worry, even if all the jargons are not clear to all of you. Uh, How many of you are into video games here, by the way? Since we're talking about FIFA, FIFA is one of the world's most popular games out there. So just curious, how many of you are actually into FIFA? Anybody? Okay, who else? Let me have a show of hands. How many of you have played the latest version of FIFA actually? Okay, we have quite a few. Karan, that's good. 23. That's very good, Karan. And very interesting, I think they have now started the adaptive learning also in the latest versions of FIFA, which is very interesting. And if you know, and if you've read about it, I know we're talking about data science and machine learning and AI a lot in our program here. But the way that FIFA has evolved over the years, especially I think starting from 2021, they started implementing a lot of that. 2022 had a lot of it, and 2023 obviously has. So they have a lot of adaptive learning happening. So based on how you play, it is not rule-based difficulty levels like if you, but this is adaptive learning. Based on how you play, the machine learns and tries to adapt on the basis of that. So a lot of analytics actually happens behind the scenes to give users the best experience. Okay, yeah. All of you kindly head over to this Google Drive link. This will take you to my Google Drive link where you can see the data set called FIFA clean data.csv. So please confirm on chat if all of you are able to see this particular CSV file, please. You can access this dataset from this link, please, all of you. And you should be able to access this dataset and see a dataset named FIFA_cleaned.csv. So please drop me a confirmation on chat if you're able to see. No problem, Karan. It's the same dataset. Same dataset. If you know Kaggle, if you've already got an account, you can take it from there. Just for users who do not understand Kaggle, you might have to enter your mobile numbers, authenticate, OTP, this, that. So to prevent all that, I just shared a public accessible Google Drive link. Yeah. All right. Click on it. You can hit a download, please. This will take you to my Google Drive link where you will see a data set called you'll see something called FIFA clean data.csv. I hope all of you are seeing this particular file. And once you see this file, you can just hit a download and you can take it into your local machine. Okay. You don't have to use Tableau. I would like you to analyze this just inside Excel. No problem. You can open it up in Excel. It's a CSV file. CSV file is a comma separated value file. All the columns are separated by commas. I would just like you to open this file in Microsoft Excel and just go over it once. Before I get started, is the link accessible? A quick show of hands from the audience. You have all managed to download it. All of you. Let me know with a quick yes, a loud yes, if all of you have managed to download this dataset. Yeah. All good. Link accessible, guys. Okay. Thank you, Vishal. Thanks, Nikhil. Karan, that could be dirty data. We need to see that. We need to see that what the issue is. But for the analysis purpose, we'll try to ignore some of those cases. We'll try to focus on the other cases. Yeah. But we can get a little deeper as to why that's happening. Okay, others, quickly, guys. Vishal, Nikhil has confirmed they're able to access the dataset, the Google Drive link. Others are able to see a link that looks somewhat like this. Can I get a loud confirmation from all of you? Quick check, guys. Yeah. Thanks, Vinay. Thanks, Nikhilesh. Thank you, Ali. Yogesh, thanks. Okay, great. Wonderful. Please download your dataset, all of you. Wonderful. Thanks, Karthik, Nitin. Thank you. Good. Hemant, link again, sir. I will quickly do that for you. Here it is. Yeah. Hemant, let me know once you're able to access. Yeah. Okay. Just try to go to the Google Drive and you can just hit the download. And for people who have already downloaded this dataset, I'm going to give a little bit of time, maybe around 3 to 4 to 5 minutes maximum time I'll give you to run through this dataset and try to understand what kind of data we are dealing with. Okay. So to make the session successful, I think I will need all your help, especially the FIFA experts. I will need help from. I think we've got a lot of people who are FIFA pros in this audience, which is great to have actually. I am not a FIFA pro, by the way. Of course, I know about soccer. I enjoy soccer, and my favorite team is also Argentina. So other nationalities do not judge me. But I'm a Messi fan. Just being very personal and being very honest. He's a good player. I know there's a big thing between Portugal and Ronaldo and Messi, but yeah, back in the days when we had Brazil, I used to be a Ronaldinho fan. It just and obviously, who can take away Zinedine Zidane? That was probably the era when I used to watch football a lot more, but it has reduced a lot with her. Okay, wonderful. So I would like all of you to quickly go back. I think some of the senior people can relate to me. I think the era of football, what we had, 10, 15 years back is no longer there. That was a different era. And honestly speaking, maybe just to take a minute, I think the Spanish national team, if you can see back in, what it was, it's incredible. I don't think we can ever have a team like that again, guys. And I wish we had taken the 2002, the 2012 data set. Actually, it would have been incredible to see the Spanish national team that won the Euro Cup, if you remember. And that was one of the best international teams in the history of football. I think for a period of 3 years, the Spanish national team that they had, it consisted of Raúl and all your Fernando Torres and Iniesta, and you have every single player in the Spanish national team around that time. It had Real Madrid and Barcelona superstars actually, and even the bench. You had people like yeah, exactly, like Iker Casillas. I think even their backup goalkeeper was a superstar. It was Valdez, no? Victor Valdez. No, Valdez was Madrid, I guess. There was a period when Casillas and there was a backup goalkeeper also they had. So their bench consisted of people who have Victor Valdez only. Yes, exactly. So the bench basically consisted of overall 90 plus players. So okay, anyways, exactly. All right. So all of you, link not working, sir. Not. I think the link will work, Krishna. Can you please try again, sir? Let me know. I'll just share the link again for people who have got it up and running. I would like you to quickly download this data set and go over it once. Open it up in Excel, please. You will see an interface that looks somewhat like this. And take a minute and try to be comfortable with your data. Okay, try to be comfortable with your data, understand what is each and every row, understand what is one row, and try to get a little comfortable with your data. What kind of data we are dealing with. That's it. Just try to get a little comfortable with the kind of data that we're dealing with. Yes. All of you, please go over it. Yeah. Screenshot of the PDF, Krishna. I think the link should suffice. You have the Google Drive link already. I think you should be able to, you should be able to access it from the Drive link I've given you. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'll quickly pause here for the next 5 minutes or so while the audience analyzes this data set. And as I said, I want this to be a very hands-on session where I want to involve you in the entire process. So make sure that you're all, going through the data set, and I'll ask lots of questions in the process also. So just get an understanding of the kind of data that we have here. It won't be a PDF, Mr. Krishna. It will basically be a simple CSV file, sir. You can kindly download that file from the link that I provided you, sir, and you should be able to get a CSV file. You can please download it from that same CSV file, please, sir. Okay? Yeah, yeah, please. The session is being recorded, Mr. Ganesh. It is being recorded, sir. Yes. You can also see in Zoom, there's an option where you can see it's recorded to the cloud. Yes. Okay, okay. Thank you, Vivek. Good, sir. I hope all of you have gone through the data set here. Let me know, please. All good, analyzing it. Hemant, absolutely right. We've got a tremendous amount of data. I think it'll be good to go over it, analyze it. Yes. I hope all of you have seen the general yeah. And as you're seeing this data set, I would also like you to draw some insights as to what type of patterns, other types of patterns you can draw from this. Yeah. Exactly. Not dirty data, not dirty data. Actually, yes, this was that is also there. So the problem is basically happening a little with the character conversion, and there are some ways around that. But for the time being, as I told you, we'll not focus too much on the data wrangling phase here. But absolutely, yes, all of that will basically come in the data wrangling phase, where we try to take that dirty data and try to clean it. But we'll assume that whatever data we have is right now in the right format. Yes, some of the names are a little different, and these are basically special character or accented characters. Who is this player, guys? This is Sergio Aguero. We can all understand. So when we are reading this data in Excel, the CSV format, it is basically in a different UTF-8 file. So there are some accented characters that are not getting displayed correctly, and there are ways to handle that, but we'll not get too much into that right now. But it's a simple way to basically change the encoding, and you can experiment on that later on. Like for example, you can just go back and open this particular file up in you can just open this particular file up in Notepad. You can open with Notepad. This is something you can do later on. I think one of you asked this question before also. You can open it up in Notepad and you can see it's nothing but a raw text file that we have. If you click on save as, if you take a look at the formatting encoding is right now UTF-8. You can just try with a different encoding like an ANSI encoding, and it should work absolutely fine. You can try this out later. Okay. But anyways, for the time being, let us go back and look at this data set. Every single row corresponds to a footballer. We have the full name, the date of birth, the age, the weight, height. These are very, very important attributes of a footballer. And we look at some analysis around this particular thing as well. We have the positions. What are the different positions where the footballer is playing? The nationality, the overall rating. This is a very important metric because this tells you what is the overall rating for that particular footballer. I also wanted to mention one quick thing with everybody, that these are primarily data taken from 9 months back. So this is 9 months back data that we have taken. Latest data as of 9 months back. So you can probably think this is last year's data primarily. Okay. We've got something called potential. What is the potential rating? So this is the potential that we have for the player. The value, this is mostly the value of the player, the wages, the salaries they make, the preferred foot, left foot, right foot, international reputation, how popular the player is internationally. If you look at somebody like Lionel Messi, the rating is from 1 to 5. 5 means the player is extremely internationally reputed. Okay. Weak foot, this is the weak foot. So how good your weak foot is. Skill moves, what kind of skill levels you have. We can look at the skill moves also, and this is once again on a scale of 1 to 5. So 1 stands for the skill being very low, skill moves are less, and 5 basically means the skill moves are high. All right. So these are the different types of these are the different types of features we have right now. And as you can see, there's some dirty data also that we have here, which we need to clean. Release clauses are basically, so just to clarify for people who don't know a release clause, what is a release clause? If you're basically already tied up with a club team, release clause is mostly for the club team. See, all footballers play for national teams also, and they play for some club teams also. So let's say if you're already playing for FC Barcelona, this is again, let's say Messi is playing for FC Barcelona, and some other team wants to purchase Lionel Messi. Let's say Real Madrid wants to basically want to take Messi in their team. So FC Barcelona will basically have a release clause. It is almost like what you call it's like a bond, or I think I'm just losing the term. What do you call? Let's say you're trying to leave a company and join some other company. Within the notice period, if you leave, you're required to pay a certain amount of money, something of that sort. Like let's say this is the release clause. So you're a very valuable resource for the company. You're a very valuable resource for the for the team. And if Real Madrid wants to purchase Lionel Messi, then they have to pay Barcelona a certain amount of money. That's what we call the release clause. And this is also very interesting. Typically, the best of the best footballers will have an extremely high release clause because the home teams will not want to release them. So Barcelona will not want to, part with Messi. So they will go back and have an extremely high release clause here. We have a club rating, a club position. What is the position at which Lionel Messi plays in Barcelona, which is the right wing? Okay, the club jersey number, which is not a very important metric. Honestly, from an analytics perspective, I don't think the jersey number really matters unless we are trying to get into astrology and all that in the session. We can look at the club joining date when Messi joined the club, and this can be a very useful information we can use to find out. This can be a very useful information we can go back and use to find out effectively more about how many years you've been carrying on with the club. And then we can look at information about the contract end year, when the contract basically ended, the national team, what national team you play for, what is the national rating you have. And this could also be a very interesting thing to look at. We can look at the national rating versus the club rating. So oftentimes the players are very good, in the club, but they are not good at the national level. And I think that with Messi, there's been a bit of argument also that Messi plays very well for the, typically Messi plays extremely well for the club, but Messi does not play that well internationally or nationally. Okay, just give me 1 minute, guys. Just give me 1 minute, please. All right. Then we have what position you play in the national team. And then we have a list of features. If you start from this particular feature, these are going to be requiring some domain knowledge. I think if people are in football, you'll be able to probably understand these features, crossing, free kick, how good you are in any of these attributes. So let's say if you talk about a Lionel Messi, Messi is basically the first row that we have. Messi is very good in free kick. He's one of the best free kick takers that we have. And you can also go back and sort this data in Excel and see, like, for example, who is the best free kick data taker that we have right now? So we can go back and take this entire data. Just a small example I'll take. I can go back and take this entire Excel data, and I can do a sorting on the basis of the free kick column, and we can see which particular player has the has the highest free kick value. Or I can just put a filter also and check. I can also put a filter and check, and we can see who is the top free kick taker, 94, and we can see it's Lionel Messi. Next top free kick taker we can see 93. Any guesses? Who is the next top free kick taker? We're just doing this data in Excel only right now, and you can see the next best free kick taker is this is basically your Sebastian Giovinco. Again, a very good from Italy. I think some of you might know. Italy has also a good free kick. Ronaldo, I think, will come a little later than that. So that is how these features are actually given. Long pass, ball. So this is basically a value from 1 to 100. So we're looking at a value from 1 to 100. 1 means your skill, your free kick skill is very low, and 100 means your free kick skill is very high. So that's the way we are looking at this thing. So these are all the different attributes of the players that we have right now. And obviously, these are features for the goalkeeper. So if you look at a Lionel Messi kind of player, then exactly, penalty will also be a good thing to look at. I think we had a penalty shootout yesterday. I'm sure people will be curious about penalty. I think there should be a penalty feature also here. Did you see a penalty feature also here? Did we see a penalty feature? I think we should have it. Penalties. There it is. Penalties. Guys, believe it or not, we are looking at the World Cup finals. Okay, we are looking at the World Cup finals. Now, World Cup finals, if you take a look at it, there's an extremely important amount of focus that teams place on analytics. So whatever we are doing right now in a simple Excel or a Tableau-like interface, mind you, even club managers, national team managers will go back and do the exact same thing. So the same process will basically work out there as well. So we can go back and look at penalties. And if you look at 92, 91, 90, these are the top penalty takers. Messi is not that good in penalties, actually, 75 only in penalty. And Ronaldo, okay, let's see. Aditya says Ronaldo is the best penalty taker. What about the others? Who is the best penalty taker? Anybody? You have seen your data in Excel. Who is the best penalty taker that we have? Look at your data in Excel and tell me, all of you. All right. Okay, wonderful. We're basically getting the penalty, the top penalty takers we can see. Let's take a look at it. 90, 91, we're looking at top upwards of 90 in penalty takers, and these are the top penalty takers. We have just put a filter on 90 plus, and these are the top penalty takers we have. Excellent, excellent, Vivek. We are able to see Fabino, Balotelli, and some of our top players are not coming. Unfortunately, no Messi and Ronaldo in the list. So they are probably good free kick takers, but not good penalty takers. So Baines, Perotti, Haller, Dost, Kane, you're able to see this right now. All right. All right, so this is my data set right now, penalty. And then we have other features like, let's say, we have the traits of the footballer. 85, 85 comes a little low, absolutely. These are the tags, traits, and then these are the other features. So what about these features, guys? These features are primarily features pertaining to the other thing, like let's say striker, right, left forward, left. These are basically the abbreviation that we talked about. So these are the more technical terms where you can refer on to the abbreviations that we discussed here. Goalkeeper, left wing, right wing, M, WF, striker, if, OL, OR. So these abbreviations that we talked about, and we are able to see these are the different features that we are seeing. All right. So so how do we read this one? For example, if you look at a Lionel Messi, and let's say Lionel Messi, primarily in Barcelona, also he played in a right winger position. If you see right winger 93 plus 2, how do you read this? How do you read this, guys? Anybody? And any of our football folks would like to brief? How do we read this 93 plus 2 for Messi? We are just trying to analyze our data. So what we are doing right now is we are trying to analyze our data. So you're looking at each and every individual player, and we are trying to analyze our data. We're trying to go over each and every individual player, and we are trying to we are trying to analyze each and every player and understand the ratings of each and every player. What is 93 plus 2? How do we read? Yeah. 93 is the base overall, and plus 2 is the overall when they play in their preferred position. 93 is the base overall. Okay. What is that plus 2? Anybody wants to tell me what is that plus 2? How do we read that plus 2? What is the meaning of that plus 2? What is that plus 2 plus 3? How do we read that? Okay. Okay, it is kind of telling you the overall skill level. Just to make it very simple for the audience, I know these are slightly technical terms that may not be very understandable to a lot of you. But then this tells you that in that particular position, for example, if you look at a Lionel Messi, now Messi is not a goalkeeper, right? Or Messi is not a defender. So if you basically look at a kind of a left back, or if you look at a right back or a center back is basically mostly a defensive position that we are seeing. So Messi is not a defender. So when Messi plays in the defensive position, you have got 48 overall +2. So think of it this as the improvement level. So +2 is basically what so 48 is the is Messi's skill level in that particular position. Okay, so Messi's skill level is very high when he is in this particular position in 93. So in right forward and right wing, so Messi is very good in this particular position. Okay, so this is primarily very useful when you're training. So this particular data is very useful when you're training. So when you're training, this particular data is very useful. So in your training sessions, you're trying to track. Okay, the player is very good in this position, and +2 means that this is the requisite improvement that you can get. Okay, so that is the nature of my data. I hope all of you are comfortable now. Now we'll be moving on and seeing this analysis in Tableau. And this initial part was very important because unless we understand our data, we cannot do anything with our data set. Now that we have a very good and very rich understanding of our data, we'll head over to Tableau and do some analysis with this particular data set. So what is Tableau? Tableau is a data visualization a platform that we have, and it's one of the top tools that we use for data visualization. So okay, so it's a very simple interface. We are going to be using something called Tableau Public, and the whole idea is to make the process very simple and show you how you can very quickly read a particular data set in Tableau and how you can slice and dice and analyze this particular data. So that's the thing that we are trying to achieve right now. So I'll take that FIFA cleaned data.csv and I'll just drag and drop it onto Tableau. See how simple the process is. This is how simple the process is to analyze the data in Tableau. It is effectively loading the data inside Tableau right now. All of you can see. This is a simple example that we are seeing. And the data has been pretty well read. And as you can see, some of the issues that we were seeing in Excel, those issues are not happening in Tableau. So Tableau has inherently handled some of those incorrect, some of those special characters, the accented characters that we had for Pogba and all those things, right? So Tableau has inherently addressed those things. So Tableau is a very useful tool for doing this kind of exploratory analysis. And you can very quickly take a data set, you can load it in, and you can do some very rich analysis inside Tableau. In addition to that, we can also use something called data interpreter. Data interpreter is a built-in feature that Tableau gives you. Okay, so data interpreter is a built-in feature that Tableau gives you, using which you can go back and further clean your data set. Okay, so in this case, we already have a clean data file, but just in case you want to further clean your data, you want to further go back and address some of those data issues that we have, we can use the data interpreter feature. Okay, all right. No, I think there's a particular CSV file which I've already shared. I'm sorry, I've already shared a link to the Google Drive with everybody. Yeah. So okay. So who is okay? We'll quickly share that once again with the audience. I think everybody has already got this data set. Yeah. Okay. No problem. So Roshan, just to clarify. Yeah, so Roshan, just to clarify, please do not follow along with me. I think, yeah, if you know Tableau, you can absolutely do this along with me, no problem. Otherwise, you can just follow along with what with what I'm showing you. Yeah, but I'll anyways just once again share the Drive link with everybody so that everybody is able to access this particular data set. So this is the FIFA cleaned data.csv. This is the link to the FIFA cleaned data.csv. This is what we have got right now. Okay, this is the link to the FIFA clean data.csv. All right, once again, I'll quickly load this in and nothing, Roshan. All you have to do is you just have to go back and take that CSV file. So guys, one small request is do not do the demo along with me because Tableau is again something that many of you may not know. So this is not a session where we are teaching you Tableau. I'm just trying to educate you on how to use Tableau and just trying to show the features of Tableau. But if you do the demo along with me, you might miss out on some of the things I'm showing you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what we are able to see. But once you do the demo along with me, you maybe might navigate to a different screen and you might not be able to follow along, right? Roshan, if you already know Tableau, then you probably will be knowing how to load a CSV file inside Tableau. So just to once again tell you how to load a CSV file, you can go back and click on you can just take that particular file. No problem. You can take that particular CSV file, sir. Just take that particular CSV file and drag and drop it and put it on Tableau. Either you can do that or you can go to connections and you can click on add connections and you can add a text file and you can just connect onto that particular CSV file. These are the two simple ways you can go back and connect to a CSV file in Tableau. There will be no error that will typically show because I'm also showing the same thing to you. I can just close the Tableau interface once again for you. I can show this one last time. I can just open it up once again fresh for you. This is the same Tableau thing I'm opening up fresh for you once again. And this is the Tableau public that I'm opening up right now. So remind me later. You can see this is the interface that we all got. You can just say to a file and to a text file. This is what you can do, or you can just go back and drag and drop that file, FIFA clean CSV, and you can just drag and drop onto the Tableau interface. Tableau will automatically load that file. Okay, this should work. In case it's not, just sit back, relax, Roshan. You can just do this after the class as well. Okay, because you already know Tableau, this should be simple to pick up. Might be some error somewhere. It's a different file you might be taking. All right. So Tableau will automatically analyze your data. Uh, it will automatically analyze your data, and it will automatically figure out what kind of columns you have got, and it will automatically figure out the data types of the columns. And just to clarify, Roshan, I just wanted to mention one more pointer, sir. Just keep in mind that you have enough RAM in your system, because we've got total 17,000 rows, 92 columns. It's a big file that we have. Tableau will occupy a lot of memory. So when you're trying to load this, ensure that you've got enough RAM that is available in your system. Just a small pointer I wanted to introduce. So Tableau has automatically classified my data into different types. So these are basically the different data types in Tableau. Nothing complex about it. We've either got numbers, whole numbers, decimals, date time types, string type, Boolean type, and these are the different types of data we have got. We've got string type data. If you see that name is a string type data, full name is a string type data, birthday is a date time kind of a type. These are basically integers. These are basically decimal numbers, weights. And if you come all the way to the right, all these parts, short power, stamina, all of these are basically whole numbers. So it's very simple data types we have got in Tableau. Now go to the sheet and we'll be entering into the very first worksheet inside Tableau. Let's see that. So I'll go to the worksheet, and once again, you can see on the left hand side, we have got the entire data that is organized. Okay. Now just wanted to very quickly discuss a simple thing with everybody. So Tableau has gone ahead and classified my data into different types, you can see. And a very important thing that we need to do in Tableau is we need to go back and understand whether all this data is in the right format or not. Okay. So conceptually, the entire table has been loaded on inside Tableau. And we can also see that there is something called a blue pill and there is something called a green pill that we are able to see. So first of all, what is the difference between the green and the blue in Tableau? In very simple terms, remember that greens correspond to numbers and blue corresponds to dimensions. Dimensions means characters, categories. It's a very simple way to look at this whole thing. So I repeat again, green corresponds to numbers and blue corresponds to dimensions. Okay, I repeat again. We've got a scenario where you can say that green corresponds to numbers. So the entire green corresponds to numbers and the entire blue corresponds to dimensions. For example, we've got body type, birthday, club jersey number, club team. Which team do you play for? Is either Barcelona, Real Madrid, something of that sort. These are basically numeric types. These are basically non-numerical data. These are basically given as blue pills. And if you come all the way down, these are all those numerical things that is given as green pills. We call them green pills, right? Now Tableau has not perfectly done the whole thing because we are able to see many of these features like let's say LB, LCB, LCM. Many of these features are actually these are mostly we can say they are once again actually numerical features. But Tableau has gone ahead and you can see it has basically categorized them as categorical features. Okay, so these are actually numerical features, but Tableau has classified them as categorical features. And you might actually question me, Sayan, why has this happened? So what is the reason why Tableau has done this? Why has Tableau, classified them as categorical features? Because there is a plus sign. Okay, if we can go back and remove that particular plus sign, Tableau will go back and convert them into numbers also. Okay, so the plus sign is basically there. So the plus is basically treated like a character. If I can just remove that and if I can add it up and take one single value, then it will work fine. But Tableau is basically reading that entire thing like a plus sign. Okay, you can check it up. You can try to force convert it and check what happens. So we can go back to our data source and we can also go back and do some pre-processing also. So we can go back to our data source and we can see. We can probably go back and do some kind of data pre-processing also inside Tableau, and all that we can go back and do. Okay, so potentially one thing that we can try out is we can go back to the section on this LCM and all that, and we can probably try to do a little bit of data pre-processing. What kind of pre-processing can we do? We can do a little bit of what we call split. So Tableau gives you with basic options to split your data. I won't be doing this for all the columns. So all the columns will be a little difficult to do. So, but then I will just show you for one of the features. So maybe I will just show you for the right winger feature. Okay, because Messi is my favorite player, so I'll do this for Messi. So we can just go back and do this for one of the features, which is, let's say, split. So I can go back and do a split, and what will happen is when I go back and split my data, see what will happen. I can actually go back and define a split on the basis of a particular column. Okay, see what has happened. I took my right winger feature, and when I took my right winger feature, there are two columns that got created. One is right winger split one is right winger split two. See, it automatically happened. You can also define a custom split, but Tableau automatically understood what was the character coming in the middle, and it was coming as 93 plus 2, and Tableau automatically converted that to 93 plus 2. So this is right wing split one, this is right wing split two. We don't need the second one. So this we can just go back and hide, or we can just go back and delete this particular column. We don't need this second column. So we can just go back and hide this one. So this is the right finger, the new calculated column that we have created. So this is how we can go back and do data pre-processing or data wrangling with a real world data set. Because we cannot work with 59 plus 2, 48 plus 2, right? But rather we should be able to work with the overalls. Like how good Messi is in the right winger position. So overall, Messi is 93 ranked in the right winger position. So this is what we are able to see with respect to Lionel Messi right now. Okay, all of you are able to see this. Okay, we can similarly go back and do this for each of the other positions. So yeah. Okay, I can show this for one of the other positions again. For David, I can do this once again. We have got left wing. Messi is also a very good left winger. Messi plays in both the positions. He's a winger basically. So center forward and left wing, Messi plays very well. Okay, so we can just go back and select one more, and we can just go back and do a split. Sorry, we can just go back and do a split. Right click, we can do a split, and Tableau will automatically understand what is that delimiter or the character that is present in the middle. So we have the left winger, which is 93 plus 2. So what has Tableau done? It has created two separate columns, one for 93 and one for 2. One for 93, one for 2. And David, the 93, the 2 one we don't require. So we can just go back and delete that particular column. So this is what we refer to as data pre-processing. From an available column, we are basically creating new calculated columns. And now this becomes a numeric field. Got it, David? Okay. So now I can take you back to my sheet. I will not do this for the rest of the files because this will take a little time. So we'll quickly go back to the sheet one once again. And if you take a look at your data frame, and if you just go back and take a look at what we did, we created two columns, if you remember. Okay. We created two columns, one right wing split one and one right left wing split one. So we can go back and we can move them to what we refer to as measures. So right wing split one and left wing split one. So these are basically become what we refer to as measures. Once again, please remember, just to clarify, anything which is a green color corresponds to a number or a measure. Anything which is a blue color corresponds to a attribute or a dimension. A dimension or a, it's kind of a category. It's a string type of data. Okay. So for our analysis, we will not be working with these position related columns. Otherwise, we have to go back and convert all these columns into numbers. The ID column is something we honestly don't require. So for the rest of our analysis, we will quickly go back and drop and hide the ID column. The ID column is just an identity column. We don't need this for the analysis. It's just an identifier. So we don't need this for our analysis, and we will just go back and ignore that for the time being. Okay. So what type of analysis can we drive? Let's start our process. Now that we have our data right inside Tableau, all set, good to go. So what can we do? What is the first thing that people would like me to do? Anything? I'm sure everybody has gone through this data set. You have your, you have your thoughts around it. Tableau is a different tool, I know, but can we have some thoughts in terms of what type of analysis you want to do right up front? Let me hear from the audience. Let's take it up from one by one, and based on what you tell me, I will do the analysis in Tableau. Okay, so I'll pick up Karthik's point first. Okay, one by one, guys, because one by one we'll take up. Karthik says, who is the most valuable player? Okay, so Karthik, can you tell me the column names that I need for it? I will need the player name. So player name will be the name of the player, right? I'll need the name of the player. And what is the value? Value we will get from which field? Value we will get from which field? All of you recall, we have got a particular field called value in euro. Okay, this is the value in euro that we have. So we are going to find out the value of the player. So in Tableau, what we can simply do is, in a very simple way, without getting to the nitty-gritties of the technical details of Tableau, I can simply click on the name of the player. I can simply select the features I require. So this is the name of the player. Hit Control on the keyboard and hit. Okay, what is the name of the feature? Value in euro. and the other feature will be value in euro. So see how I've selected the two columns. So one column is I've got name of the player, and the second column is I've got value in euro. I've selected both the columns, hitting control on the keyboard. Then I can go to a particular feature called show me. On the top right, we have got a particular feature called show me. And in the show me tool, I can go back and see Tableau automatically recommends depending on whatever features I've selected. So I repeat, depending on whatever features I've selected, Tableau automatically recommends what type of charts we can create. Okay, I repeat, just to clarify, again, I'm just trying to go over this part a little slow because we are seeing Tableau for the first time. We can basically, after we got our data in Tableau, we can select what all columns we are interested to analyze. In this case, we are looking to analyze the player name and the value in euro. Just go back and select the two columns. Okay, remember this is a green color, it's a number. This is a blue color, it's a category, it's a string. So, and Tableau will recommend what are the best types of charts we can create. So Tableau recommends a bar chart here. Tableau also recommends a few tabular heat maps we can create. So for the time being, we will go back and create a bar chart just to show you which is the most highly valued player. Okay, so we are able to see the value in euro for each and every player, and we can sort in descending order, and we can see the most valued player. This is not a surprise. Lionel Messi is indeed the most valued player. Then we have got Neymar. Then we have got De Bruyne, and then Harry Kane, and then Eden Hazard. Uh, Dybala is something I do not know honestly. Suarez obviously is the other player. The Uruguayan forward Suarez, and Mbappe is obviously from France. These are the most highly valued players that we have. Now, once we have plotted this visualization, we can also go back and rename our sheets. This is also a very good practice in Tableau because otherwise you will lose track. There are so many analysis that we are trying to do. We can very easily lose track as to what type of thing we are doing. So we can also go back and rename our sheets. So for example, here we will say most valuable players, right? Another thing we can also go back and do is we can also try with other types of visuals. So we can probably go for a packed bubble. This is also very nice from a visualization perspective. And one more thing you can try out is also a tree map. So tree map is also a wonderful way we can go back and visualize the data. I'll try to show you another example where we can do this. So tree map is also one more way we can go back and kind of detail by the player. So we can go back and detail by each and every individual player. So we can go back and detail by each and every player, and we can kind of show the we can go back and show how the what the value of each and every individual player actually is. And you can once again see that Lionel Messi is coming right at the top. It's just a very nice visual way of seeing the whole thing overall, right? Anyways, we'll go back to the bar chart. It's the simplest way to analyze our data. And turns out, whenever you have one number and one category, bar chart is typically the best way to analyze your data. Okay, we can go to the next visualization. We can look at again as Aditya says the most free kicks. Who is the player who has taken the most? Do we have the data point for that most free kicks? Most free kicks taken. I don't think we have that particular data point. We have the free kick level. We can probably find out the player who has the who takes the best free kicks. That we can do. So we can take the free kick feature, free kick accuracy feature, or we can take the penalty feature, and we can plot out which of the players are the best free kick takers, right? So once again, we can go back and select the name column. So we can go back and choose the name column, and we can go back and choose the free kick accuracy column, and we can take a look at which of the columns are the top free kick takers. And once again, we can go for a bar chart. Whenever you have a numerical column and a categorical column, bar chart is the best of the best visualization techniques we can use. And we can see, okay, a free kick accuracy this will actually be kind of like a median we will take. Okay, so we can go back and see which of the players have the highest free kick accuracy, and we can see Messi has the top free kick accuracy. Okay, 94, followed by Giovinco, followed by Pinchak, and so on and so forth. So these are the top free kick takers that we have. We can also go back and look at penalty. And the same way, whenever we have one number and one category, we can go back and use bar charts for all these things. Okay. So who are the best penalty takers? Can we analyze the data as well? So we can once again select name. We can once again select name, and we can go back and look at penalty. I think we have a feature for penalty also. There goes penalties. And we can once again plot a bar chart for this entire data. Sort in descending order, please. And we can find out which of the players have the other top penalty takers. Okay, so we can go back and find out which of the players are the top penalty takers. And we should be able to see that the best penalty takers is Balotelli, then Cruz, then Fabinho, and so on and so forth. These are the top penalty takers that we are able to find. Okay. All right. What else is interesting? What else can we do with this data set? The most valued player under the age of 30. Okay, that's a very interesting analysis, Vivek. How do you think we will do this? Okay, let's run Vivek's analysis quickly. We are looking at young players. So first of all, we have to put a small filter by age, and then we are looking at the most valued player. So this will basically be nothing but the same analysis that we have done here, the most valuable players. Okay, so we are looking at the same analysis. So we are looking at the most valuable players here also. So for example, we have Messi, and we can look at Messi's value. Messi's value we can basically look at. This is Messi's value 1105. Okay, and you can see Messi's value is 1105. This is what we have right now. The same analysis we have got right now here as well. Okay, and now all I want to do is I want to go back and put a filter on age. Okay, so we can see basically put a filter on age. We have got an age column. Where is the age column? The age column is somewhere here, and I can simply say that hey, go back and analyze this data and put a filter on age, show filter, and I want to see this data. Okay, I think we just go back and take a look at this data here. So we can see this is the age column that we have right now. And we can simply go back and put a filter. This is not going to be sum of age. It's going to be just going to be editing the filter. Okay, and we'll go back and okay, we'll go back and customize the filter a little bit here. Okay, or I can just drag and drop it and customize it here specifically. Okay. Okay, don't worry about this part, what I did here. I'll just go back and customize the filter. I'll just quickly go back and customize the filter. And I will say that I want to select only players. So you would have seen what I did in case, just in case people missed out what I did. It's a bit of a technical thing. I went to analysis and I said disaggregate measures. That means I'm basically instructing Tableau that every single row is basically one player. No need to aggregate, no need to do some grouping or pivoting. Because every time you would have seen how I was setting median, how I was setting, and all this I was setting, right? No need to do that. So next time I can just take the free kick accuracy feature. So for example, if I'm looking at the most valuable player, I can just go back and take value in euro. Where is that? This is value in euro. I can just take that, but sorry, I can just take the value in euro feature. Okay, no need to set medians and all this kind of stuff. This is what I was doing before. So once I remove that disaggregate measures, I can straight away do this normal analysis now. This is what I actually did here. So again, who is the top player in this age? So below 30, you said, right? I think below 30 is quite a old. I think we can look at 25. I think at the age of 25, these are the top players. Mbappe is obviously a very good player. We know that, and he's a young player and also one of the top rated players we have. So these are the top and emerging players we have under the age of 30. Okay, what else can we do? We can go back and also change the rest of the stuff. So free kick accuracy, we can change that. So we can just go back and take free kick accuracy here. Just take the feature itself. Okay, and once again we can disaggregate measures and just take the feature itself, free kick accuracy. Sort in descending order. The top free kick takers. The bar chart, and these are the top free kick takers we have. Okay, I can once again go back and go to penalties, and once again replace this with penalties. Okay, all right. So anybody wants to quickly go on this one? How do we analyze this one further? What other analysis can we do? What other types of analysis can we do here? Anybody? Maybe something on the basis of so we have looked at bar charts right now. We're looking at bar charts right now primarily. So are there some other types of analysis we can also do other than bar charts? Something else we can also drive other than bar charts? Correlations, very good. Very good correlation. What is correlation? Correlation is basically the relationship between two variables. Very good. So I think in football, we can look at two very important features. One is weight and one is height. So what kind of a correlation do you guys expect? Very good. Weight and height performance statistics. Very good. So weight and height, what kind of a relationship do we expect? Do we expect a positive relationship or do we expect a negative relationship? Any thoughts? So once again, we've got two columns. We've got one column for weight, one column for height. I can once again go back and turn off aggregate measures. Disaggregate measures I will do. So I have a weight column. I have a weight column. This is weight in kilos, and we've also got height in centimeter. What kind of a relationship do we expect? Is it positive or is it negative? Let me hear from the audience. So the more the weight of the player, the more the height of the player. Can we say that? Okay. So again, we expect a positive correlation. Okay. Look at this. This is very interesting. I plotted this out. Once again in Tableau, I've selected the two features, and this is the weight and height correlation that we are able to see. So very interesting. On an average, generally it is positive, but we're able to see there are a lot of cases where even if the person's weight is more, the height is this. Another thing is the height is always is kind of less, but generally it's a positive correlation. It's pretty much based on how it's more of a biology thing, human body mass index and all that. So you cannot have a very high height without increasing weight. Okay, so this is more of a positive correlation. Karan has mentioned something very interesting: height and heading accuracy, or maybe even something like weight and free kick, shot power. Okay, we can look at shot power as well, right? Okay, so do you think, which feature will have a high impact on shot power? Is it weight or height? So what other correlations can we drive? Anybody? Out of all the features, sprint speed, do we have a sprint speed here? Yes, we have sprint speed. So sprint speed versus weight we can do. Good, we can do sprint speed versus weight. Let's see. We can look at a correlation between sprint speed and weight. And let's see. Okay, this is very interesting. Maybe this is not expected actually, but we are actually seeing a negative correlation. No, so actually it's expected, but we are able to see a very strong negative correlation with some outliers, and we are able to spot players here. Look at this. These are players with very small weight and very high sprint speed, but there are players with low weight who do not sprint at all. At the same time, there are players who are extremely high, high weight, whose weight is pretty high, and still they sprint very, very fast. And now it will be very important to know who these players are. How can we know that? We can go back and take the player name in the tooltip, and I can see who these players actually are. There goes Sule. Sule is a player, Ludaku, and Jay Grot. These are the players that we have right now. And this is the player which is Mutari. Okay, who is the slowest sprinter? The slowest sprinter will be, Kiri Hata. I don't know who the player is. Yeah. Positive or negative, Pranit, just to mention, we are able to say that more the weight, lower the sprint speed. You can see in these data points, we're able to clearly see that more the weight of the player, the lower the sprint speed. It's expected. If you're a heavy player, then you will not be able to sprint very fast. Okay, so more the weight of the player, the lower the sprint speed. That's expected. These are all things that we're expecting. So a very important part in data science will be where from the domain knowledge you expect that a particular thing will happen, and now you go back and use your data and you try to drive that analytics forward. So we are expecting this particular pattern to emerge on the basis of my data, and now we are trying to drive that. We are trying to visualize our data and trying to drive that. Yeah. Okay, more muscle. How can you? Okay, fine, Pranit. I hope this is clear. We'll come to that. Messi, Ronaldo. We'll do analysis. We'll come to that in a minute. Is there something else we can do? Lower center of gravity. Okay, lower height and yes, lower height and speed. We can do something on the basis of height also. You're suggesting, right? Okay. I think this will be interesting to see. We've got weight and sprint speed that we have plotted. I think it will also be interesting if I basically color by height. Let's see that. I think some of you are trying to do that analysis based on height also. So we can go back and color by height. Tableau gives us that flexibility. I can go back and color by height. And this is something very interesting we are able to get. Let's see that I'll edit the colors from, let's say from, red, green diverging. So these are players with less height and these are players with high height. Look at this. Very interesting. Is this expected? Is this something that you're expecting? I think this is something that a pointer that was given by, sorry, who is that person? I think lower height and speed. What's your name? Sorry, I think I've given us 1 P. Sorry, yeah. Uh, so we are trying to do some analysis based on weight, sprint speed, and height. Weight, sprint speed, and height. Kalash, right? Kalash. So Kalash, does this make sense? Is it in line with what we expect? So we are able to see that players with lower height also generally have lower weight. This is on the lines of correlation that we expected. So players with lower height have lower weight and typically. So who are the best players we can say? Who are the best? So we are looking at players with who are extremely tall. Dark green players basically mean extremely tall players and extremely tall players, heavy players, and also with a high sprint speed. I don't know. That's a good combination, you think, in football? Like if I look at a player like this one, tall player, heavy player, and also player with a high sprint speed. We can also probably focus on Ronaldo and Messi and see where they lie. And we can also go back and do very interesting. We can go back and do club level analysis. I think Barcelona and Real Madrid will be two clubs we can look at, and we can also go back and do club level analysis here. I'm just going to quickly drive that one. Okay, so we can also go back and probably filter by the club specifically or the team specifically. So this is height and weight analysis that we have done. So we can also go back and filter by the teams. So we can look at two specific teams. Let's look at the team here. So we can group this data by the teams. Let's see what team we can take. Where is the team variable? So we have the national team here. Nationality is there. This is the nationality variable that we have. So we can group our data by nationality. Just to give you a sense on what kind of analysis we can drive. So we can do this based on nationality, columns by nationality, and we can also filter by nationality. So there are too many nationalities we have, so no need to have all this. I can just show the filter, and I can only select, let's say, Argentina and Portugal. Okay, these are the top favorites in this World Cup. So Argentina, and we can also look at Portugal, and we can probably also look at France. One of you also said France in the beginning of the class. So we can look at Argentina, Portugal, and France, and we can basically go back and see how the players compare across these three teams. So very interesting. We're able to see the three. Just to get a slightly bigger view in Tableau, we can also click on this particular option, full screen presentation mode. And now we can go back and see how the different players compare. Roughly the patterns will be very similar. And now we are looking for some outlier players who are really, really good. Let's say who sprint really well. At the same time, a very high height. Typically, if you've got a very high height, you cannot sprint because I mean it's a winning combination, right? If your height is very high and yet you're a good sprinter. So Messi is a great sprinter, but Messi is not that tall, so he will not be able to give headers. Next time those corners and those free kicks happen, so typically you need people who are tall. If you're a tall person and you are also go back and you also sprint well and you're also a heavy person, that means you can go back and defend as well. So you're a winning combination in a way. So I think that's a very rare thing to look for in a player. All right. Okay. What else can we do? We did this analysis based on weight, height, and all this. What else we can do? Any other interesting analysis we can write? Okay, Roshan, just to clarify, what you can do is you can go back and create bins, sir. So to answer your question, Roshan, just to clarify, in case you are doing this separately in Tableau, you can basically create a bin column. I'll just very quickly take up your question, sir. You can right click on the weight column and you can go back and create something called a bin column. You can create bins in Tableau. You can create bins and you can define your bins as 0 to 5, 5 to 10, and so on and so forth. I think in your case, Roshan, you want to create a bin size of 5. You can please go back and create a bin size of 5, sir. Click on OK. And now what you do is you end up getting a bin column in Tableau. Fine. Hope that answers your question. So this will give me the bins as you want it. And if you look at your data, if I just click on this particular option called view data, this is just to give you a sense of your data as in when you're doing the pre-processing. And you can go back and see the bin column that we have created. These are the weights that we have in kilogram. And you can go back and see the bin column that we have also created here. Okay, and the bins will basically come. So what bins that you actually belong to. Height and position on the pitch. Okay, jump and heading accuracy. All right. So we can look at jump and heading accuracy. That's good, Karan. So where is the jump feature? We have the jump feature is this one, and the heading accuracy feature is this one. We can again look at a correlation. So all of these cases where we have two numerical variables, these are all classic cases of correlation. We can go back and look at correlation. Okay, so we are not able to see a very good correlation actually. I think which is largely positive, more or less it is positive, but we are able to see lots of outliers. And the interesting part about picking up a winning combination is we are trying to find out those players who are basically outliers. So who are those players who really have very, very high values in all these aspects? So the outliers is what we are trying to pick up. So this is the normal, right? So people who jump well also have a high heading accuracy, but we are basically trying to primarily pick up outliers, like even in this one. So which of the players basically have extremely good body dynamics to play well? Yeah, dribbling and finishing is going to be a positive correlation. Very good. So if you're a good dribbler, then you're also probably a good finisher. Okay, so that's also a good one. So we can look at dribbling and we can look at finishing. These are basically the skill levels that we are primarily measuring. That's right, Karan. And we are once again able to see that this is actually a very good correlation. So between dribbling and finishing, we are pretty much able to see a very strong positive correlation. Why? Because typically, if the finishing value is high, the dribbling value is also high. And now we can look at outliers. Very interesting. We are able to look at players who are great dribblers but not great finishers. So can we see what players they are? You want to name some players who are great dribblers but not good finishers? They're basically playmakers. So they will basically be very good in passing in the midfield. They will typically play, but they will pass the ball and the others will do the job. So we can look at some players who are great dribblers, but they are not good finishers, and we can primarily see who these players actually are. Okay, so great dribblers, dribbling thing is very high. So who is the best dribbler and the best finisher? That will be Messi, right at the top. Then we have Neymar. These are some of the best dribblers and the best finisher. Eden Hazard, Isco, and Bramini. I think these are all the top players we all understand, right? And now, very interesting. One more thing. One more thing we can go back and do. One more thing we can go back and do. I know it's a little biased. I think overall ratings are a little biased towards forwards. But what we can also go back and do is, now that we have got dribbling and finishing, this is mostly with respect to forwards, right? People who are strikers, people who are playing at the strikers mostly we are looking at. If you look at it, now we can go back and color this on the basis of overall rating. Let us look at overall rating. So we can go back and color the players based on overall rating. And very interesting. Let's see what kind of patterns we are able to drive here. Edit color, red, green, blue, red, green diverging. And I think this is expected. At the same time, we are also seeing some very interesting patterns here. I can reduce the opacity just to ensure we are able to see some overlaps and all. And this is the patterns that we are able to see generally. Any thoughts what we are able to observe from this? We can generally say that these are the greens. That means these are the best forwards that we have. Another very interesting analysis we are able to drive. We can probably say that these are, so typically high overall rating goes for forwards. We're talking mostly about forwards, right? This is mostly forwards. Whereas the defenders typically do not have a great overall rating. I think yes, there are some great defenders which also make it to the top names, but I think the defenders do not make it to the best of the best names. So mostly when you talk about the top names, these are people in the midfield, say, the midfield attacking midfielders, or the center forwards, or actually the strikers who are basically making it to the top. That's also very interesting and the bias analysis we probably are getting. It's like you go to cricket, a match, and mostly it's the batsman that people talk about. Like you go to a cricket match to what batsman hit sixes. We don't go to cricket match to what bowlers take wickets, right? I'm connecting it to cricket. So naturally in a football game, you basically go to a football match to see goals being scored, right? You don't want to go to a football match to see defenders stopping the goals. But so this is also very interesting. Like maybe we are able to see defenders typically have very less overall rating generally, except for a few very, very good defenders. Who is the defender with the highest overall rating? Let's have that analysis. Do we have a specific feature for defender? Anybody wants to run that analysis for me? See how we are flowing through the file. So we are going back and doing one analysis, and then we are using our domain knowledge to say, hey, who can this player be? Who can be the best defender in our fantasy playing list? Something of that sort. Interceptions can be a good feature. Interceptions and blocks can be two features we can take a look at. Okay, very good. We can probably take a look at interceptions, and we can also probably look at blocks. Where is blocks? Uh, where is the blocks feature? Help me with the name of the feature, please. Okay, I'm not able to see the blocks. One minute. I think we have that. Which one you want me to take, Kalash? So what is the very important metric for defenders? How do I identify defenders here? Actually, see, I can always go back and look at this feature. I can always go back and look at this feature. I think we can look at this one as well. I think we can look at center backs. Unfortunately, I've not done the pre-processing here. But if I've done that, I can identify, CB, LCB, RCB, and all that. I can do it this way. I can simply do a filter, and I can identify who are the best center backs, who are the best left backs. I can do it this way also. And this way also, I can identify the best defenders. So very clearly, the best defenders you can find through a simple filter. This way also, you can do the whole thing. So Jordi Alba and Kanta, all these are good defenders we have. Tackles can also be a good one. Yes. So my question is basically what is the good feature to identify defenders, except for looking at the positions. The positions will give me a clear thing. Huh. Which one? Uh, okay, I think interceptions is a good one, definitely. Interceptions we can definitely take. What else? Standing tackle and sliding tackle. Very good. Very good. Standing tackle. Tackle is a good one. Correct. Correct. So we can look at a standing tackle and a sliding tackle. Probably we can look at these two features. We can probably look at these two features. Tackle. So defenders need to be very good in tackling. So we can look at this one, and obviously we expect a very strong positive correlation. Excellent, Karan. We can also look at positioning also, sir. We can do that as well. And we expect players who are good in standing tackle to be also good in sliding tackle. And these are potentially going to be some of the top defenders. Okay, these are potentially players we expect to be very, very good defenders. Okay, and now I'll do something very interesting. So now we'll go back, and we are expecting that all of these are basically defenders. See, there's a whole lot of other interesting stuff we can do in this file. We can go back and create a feature specifically for defenders. Okay, so we can go back and create a feature specifically for defenders. So we can now say, uh, yes, Kalash. So how can we gauge positive correlation? Strong correlation basically means that the points are basically kind of they're basically very close together. So we are able to see that the more the standing tackle, the more the sliding tackle. See, unlike something like this one, it was more spread out. So we were thinking that if you're a good jumper, your heading accuracy is also very high. That's not really the case. We're able to see a lot of cases where you're jumping very well, but your heading accuracy is low. We're not able to see a very strong relationship. But if you look at this particular case, if your standing tackle value is high, your sliding tackle value is also high. And we can look at some of these players with extremely good standing and sliding tackles. So we can look at Cellini. Cellini, I think, is with which team? Sorry, I forgot. Uh, Italy, right? Italy, yes. Yeah, I think most of the defenders will be from Italy. Italy is the land of the defenders, right? So we have Italy. All the absolute legends, defense legends are from Italy. Absolutely, I think most of these are from Italy. Very interesting. Something we can go back and do now. Let's say Sergio Ramos. Even Spain has a very good defense, basically. So one more thing we can go back and do is we can go back and probably just the point that I mentioned right now. We are expecting most of our good defenders and our good tacklers to be from Italy. So one more thing we can go back and do. We can probably go back and look at the national team. We can look at the national team and we can filter by the national team. That's one more thing we can go back and do. This will be one more very interesting thing that that can be potentially done. Okay, we also have a particular feature for this one. We actually have a national team position also, guys. But the problem I'm not taking this field is because there are a lot of features which are missing. But we might as well take a national team position feature as well. We can also run some analysis there. But anyways, I'll take a national team feature and I'll color by national team. Okay, what national team they're a part of. Okay, I can color by national team or I can color by nationality. Okay, I can go back and color by nationality. And we are probably expecting Italy to be somewhere here. Most of the Italians will be basically here. I can go back and filter by Italy, and we can see the Italian players how they rounded up. So we can see some of the best defenders. Obviously, these are players whose sliding tackle and standing tackle is very high. So most of these players will be from Italy, and you can take a look at it. That's your Italian players we're able to see. Okay. All right. So I think we have identified good defenders. We've identified good defenders in our side. We've identified good forwards in our side. What other analysis we can do? Potential players, of course, we can look at. We can look at who are the best potential players. Absolutely. Are there some other types of analysis we can do in Tableau? We have looked at simple bar charts. We have looked at simple scatter plots. These are some simple analysis that we have managed to drive. What other types of analysis we can go back and do? Let's see that. Okay, we have a particular feature for, okay, anything else? What other feature we can drive quickly, guys? Regression for current parameters of age versus potential. Okay, very good. Age versus potential we can look at, absolutely. So we are looking for correlation once again between age and potential. So potential analysis can also be done. And as you can see, this is a very repetitive analysis we can drive. And this becomes a very continuous process. This is age versus potential once again. And we're expecting this to be, this is coming out to be this kind of a correlation. Not much we are able to observe probably. So a lot of stuff is happening. So we are expecting, so if you're a scout, this will be a very important thing for you. So as a scout, what kind of players are you looking for? So if you're looking at this particular chart, what kind of players are you looking for? You're looking for players who are young and who have high potential. So I think the real cream of the players is basically somewhere here. So the real cream of the players is somewhere here who have low age and high potential. So I'm really looking to pay top dollar for these players. Next time you go on to a particular an auction, let's say if you're a team doing an auction, you will look for the age of the player and the potential of the player, and you're probably looking for these are the kind of players you want to nurture in your club. And even from a contract signing perspective, all of these factors will actually matter. Next time you see players signing a 5-year contract, 4-year contract, see if you will not hire a 40-year-old player, right, and sign a 5-year contract with that player, probably not. But you would rather, take in a 18-year-old player who has extremely high potential, and you will want to invest in that player and sign a 5-year contract. Even keep a very high release clause for the player. Okay, so, but typically older players you will sign smaller contracts. Something of that sort we can argue, right? Experience versus new players. Okay, what kind of analysis we can do there, sir? Aditya, what can we do? How do you identify that? By the way, we have age. Okay, what kind of analysis you want to do? You want to be specific. Any other thoughts? Let me also involve the others. I've got lots of interesting thoughts that have come from Kalash, Karan. You guys have been very active in the session. Very good. Others, I would also like others to contribute. Any other thoughts that you can share? I think we have looked at a lot of the yeah. No, if you do bins, it will come as a dimension, sir. In case it is coming as a measure, please make sure that you're basically converting it to a dimension. And Roshan, just to answer your question, what you can do, you can right click on any column and you can just say convert to a measure or convert to dimension. You can just simply click on this option of convert to dimension. So if it is basically making it a measure, just right click on that and say convert to dimension. Just do that, sir. It will come as a blue pill. Okay, it should work fine that way. We can also look at the distribution plot for age. This will also be an interesting thing to look at. And anybody wants to tell me what this particular chart means, what this particular chart refers to? Any thoughts? We're looking at something a little different aside from usual bar charts and scatter plots. So what type of analysis are we able to drive from this one? Any thoughts? We can say that most of the footballers are average to young in age, and few footballers have very high age. So most footballers have are average to young, and few are old. Few are really old. I think we are seeing a normal curve where we are seeing the average age of a footballer is typically around 24 to 26. This is the average prime years of playing, and there are very few footballers who are roundabout in this age. So there are total 56 footballers who are 39 plus, and it will be very interesting to see who those footballers actually are. Okay, and I think one of you were also mentioning experience versus old. So we can probably, Aditya, what we can also go back and do is now we can go back and look at specifically those 39 plus footballers, and they will most likely be the war horses of the respective teams. If you still have in the World Cup right now, some of the oldest players who are playing, they'll be very experienced and they've probably played in other World Cup editions before. So they're typically going to be very, very good players. Yeah, mostly even forwards. I think even I don't know, Messi is also old, right? Yeah. Or maybe if you look at other yeah, yeah. Can we do like depending on players in franchisee get players in franchisee get Nikhilesh, can you come again with that analysis again, sir? Great to hear your thoughts as well, all of you. Any other thoughts that people would like to share other than the normal analysis? How do we select players? How do we choose the best player? So coming to the problem statement for the day, I hope I've given you enough direction in which you can approach the analysis now. Okay, it's impossible to do the whole analysis in a 1 hour session. But I hope all of you are able to go back and exactly coming to that, Vivek. Exactly coming back to that. How do you create the best fantasy team? Well, as you can see, now that we are doing this individual analysis, it is up to you as a coach. Let's say you're the coach right now. So what you will do, you will have to figure out the best strategy. What kind of a team you want. So first of all, if you want to build a team which is high on offensive, you want to build a team which is high on offense. So that is how you're going to design that team. It is like saying I want to build a cricket team, which has more batsmen. That's one way to look at it. So so obviously, let's say you have to define, okay, how many forwards I want, how many center forwards I want, how many midfielders I want, how many defenders I want. So first you lay out the formation. Okay, because right now in this particular data set, I don't have match level data. Unfortunately, the match level data I don't have. If I had the match level data, we could have done a more detailed analytics. That'll again be a very long session, but we don't have the match level data right now. So if I had the match level data, I probably could have said that on this particular match or across the matches in this particular position, this player does very well. So if you are building a particular side, then depending on whichever team you're playing with, you have to first figure out what type of formation you want. And based on the formation, let's say you want this many defenders, you want this many midfielders, you want this many forwards, you will define the formation accordingly. So let's say you want two forwards, you want two center forwards in the team. So to answer the question that Vivek asked, let's say you want two center forwards. What you will do, the most obvious feature that we will look for is go back to the center forward column. Once again, after doing that splitting and all that, you will go to the center forward column. And you will also potentially look at left forward and right forward also. Because typically center forwards, they will, like if you see these are very interchangeable options. Like somebody like Lionel Messi, if he's playing as a center forward, he will also typically alternate between all these positions. And Messi also plays very well in these two positions also. So left winger, left forward, center forward, right winger, left attacking midfielder, and right attacking midfielder. These are very similar skill sets. All these positions are very similar skill sets. So if I'm really looking to build a build a team which is high and strong on on these parameters, then I will take only these parameters, sort my data on these parameters, and select players on the basis of that. I can basically put a filter on these parameters and select those players who have very high values for all these numbers. So who are the players who have the highest left wing? Who are the players who have the highest center forward? Who are the players who have the highest CAM? So choose those players who have the highest values for all these attributes. So that is how I can build a strong offensive and midfield combination. Rather, if you want a very strong defensive combination formation, you go back and rely on something like this one. And then, of course, you want strikers. Now you have to define how many strikers you want, and this depends on the formation entirely. So you decide how many what kind of strikers you want or how many strikers you want in the side. So go back and filter out on the basis of this data and identify the top two strikers. Okay, so Messi and Ronaldo are obviously in everybody's list. So Messi not only is a good striker, but Messi also alternates very well in the remaining positions. He's very good in the midfield positions also. So now you can go back and choose Messi in the fantasy team. So that is how we can go back and choose these players. The first thing is define the formation, and next you go back and choose this. And a very simple way, a very basic way to get started is to take the overall rating. If you ask me, how do you build the fantasy team in a very simple way, you can go back and take the overall rating of the players. Just take the overall rating of the players, take the player names, and take their respective overall ratings. This is the overall rating of the player. Where is that overall rating of the player? Show me. Just create a simple heat map on the basis of this data. Okay, we can look at the respective overall ratings of the players. Whatever the overall ratings of the players are, sort my data, and these are the top players that we have right now. This is the very simple way we can go back and choose the players. And now we can decide, okay, these are the, and now we can go back and further group this data based on who are defenders and who are attackers. So we can go back and further group this data based on, based on who are defenders and who are attackers. How do I identify that in this entire list of the top players based on overall rating? Who are the best defenders and who are the best attackers? How do I identify that? So we can simply go back and take the defense feature, and we can take the offense feature. Now, again, in my entire data set, we don't have a clear defense feature. We don't have a clear offense feature. So what we can go back and do is we can probably go back and look at the positions. So a very simple way we can go back and do this is we can go back and look at the positions. Or one more thing we can go back and do is we can go back and look at these traits, or we can go back and look at these traits, tags. This is one more very interesting way we can run the analysis. This can be the next step of analysis we can do, but this will involve a little bit of NLP. So if you basically have somebody like Lionel Messi, he's a dribbler, distance shooter, crosser, specialist, acrobat, clinical finisher, complete forward. So by looking at these features, I can say that Messi is an absolute forward. And if you look at this, these are the traits of Lionel Messi, primarily. Okay, this is the way to look at it. Yeah. All right. So just to answer that question that the audience asked me, so very simple way you can choose the ideal team will be to go back and look at the overall ratings of the players, and now you can go back and select on the basis of individual parameters who are my forwards and who are my defenders. So we can probably pick the top 4 5 forwards from this list, because we know Messi and Ronaldo are great in the striker and the midfielder combinations, whereas we can look at other other players. Like you can identify some very good defenders also, and we can choose some of these good defenders in our team as well. Okay. And coming to goalkeeping ability, who are the top goalkeepers? Anybody identified? We didn't talk about goalkeeping at all. What about goalkeepers? Who are the best goalkeepers that we have? We don't have an overall rating for goalkeepers actually. So this is one more avenue where you have to take all the features and analyze all the features separately. So goalkeeper diving, goalkeeper kicking, goalkeeper positioning, goalkeeper reflexes, all of these features will in a way match, have to be taken overall. So all these features will need to be taken overall. Let's see. So we're looking at goalkeeping, handling, and let's say goalkeeping. Kicking is not that important, but the reflexes are more important. We'll quickly go back and look at these two parameters. Look at a correlation plot, and let's see what we end up getting. And we can also go back and look at the top players here as well, and we can identify who are the players with the highest values for for goalkeeping, handling, and goalkeeping keeping. So these are the top players. Oblak and we think Kurtosis, Manuel Neuer, and these are some of the best goalkeepers we have. We can also go back and take other features. So we have taken only 2 features right now. We can take the other features also. So we can also go back and take goalkeeper reflexes. So we can size by reflexes. We can go back and size by reflexes, or we can go back and color by reflexes. Even the coloring as an additional dimension, we can go back and add. So typically, this is a strong correlation we will observe. And this is expected unless you see some outliers in the process. You can go back and see this thing. So typically goalkeepers who are good in handling, good in diving, are also very good in reflexes. This is the general thing that we expect. So goalkeepers who are good in handling, good in diving, are also good in reflexes, unless we see some extreme outliers in the process. Okay, we can just reduce the opacity a little bit to see this better. So there are lots of goalkeepers who are coming in this area, and lots of goalkeepers coming in this area. These are mostly the players. They're not goalkeepers. Okay, they're mostly players we have. So all the players will also have some goalkeeping ability as well. So this is more like a forward, like there's a Nasri and Balotelli and all these players we have got right now. Yeah. All right. And just to clarify, we can also take the third feature, the other feature on goalkeeping, which is goalkeeping positioning. So we can also probably go back and also size by positioning. This is one more thing we can go back and do. I know the plot becomes a little bit more complicated, but we can also probably visualize this feature as well. But very clearly, if I have to select my fantasy team, the 2 top goalkeepers will be out of this list. Either an Oblak I will choose. I'll choose a Kurtosis. I'll choose a Manuel Neuer. And these are the 3 backup goalkeepers I'll probably have in my team. Yeah. Uh, so Vivek, that will be mostly the predictive analytics part where we are trying to find out what will happen the next year. But I think the fantasy team selection will be based on our current year. So we are looking at our current data, and based on that, we are trying to figure out how the players will perform. So that is how we are looking at primarily the descriptive historical data. But if you want to run this analysis, and if you want to kind of project this to what will happen the next year, the next to next year, that will be more like the predictive side of things, where you look at your historical data until the last year and you try to predict what will happen the next year. So your team selection happens on the basis of some prediction. So right now we are basically doing the team selection based on the historical data. But once you use some predictive analytics models, now you are saying that, hey, Messi, until now his performance is so and so, but next year Messi is expected to perform so and so. So based on that, should I select Messi in my team or not? Fine, Vivek, that could be one interesting thing you can do. And one way we can do that is you can look at the trends. Okay, this is Messi's overall rating. Over the years, Messi's overall rating has increased like this, but we have seen a small dip. So Messi is already at the peak of his career. So now it will either flatten or it will basically dip. So based on that pattern, we are predicting that Messi's overall rating will dip next year. So if you're doing a team selection for next year, let's say the next year FIFA or something tournament will happen, we'll probably not choose Messi. Just like how Portugal, Ronaldo was basically, kind of Ronaldo was not chosen, right? Ronaldo was not given the place in the starting 11. So something of that sort. So all these models will come in to predict what will happen in a way. Yeah. Okay. Does that give all of you a little bit of a intuition, understanding on how things will work out? I hope all of you get a sense. So let me hear a little from the audience based on whatever analysis we are looking at. I hope people have got some basic exposure to Tableau. You understand data science. You're able to look at your data, and you're able to look at the different types of. It's a huge data set. 92 columns is a massive data set. But the whole objective of the session was to give you an overview into what are the different ways you can look at data. This is going to be so honestly speaking, this is going to be a week-long process. So building a fantasy team is a huge effort. So we are only taking two features, three features in the limited time of the session to run you through the process. But now that you have learned some parts of what I taught you, you've got some intuition, some insights on how things work. The next thing I will encourage you to do is you go back and pick up this data set. You already have the data set with you. And now you look at every other feature. Like for example, you take all the features with respect to vision, stamina. We have not taken stamina in the class today. We have not taken shot power. I think if you have to identify who are the top free kick takers in the in the world, we can look at shot power versus. Okay, so we are looking at shot power. What are the two free kick attributes, guys? But we didn't talk about free kick. Sorry, I think free kick is an important thing. So what are the two important attributes for free kicks? Okay, so shot power versus free kick accuracy. Can we say that? Or shall I take free kick accuracy versus curve? Which one do you like? I think Messi is more like in this zone, right? Accuracy and curve. Whereas I think if you look at a Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldo will have a higher shot power than Messi, right? Yeah. So if you look at a free kick accuracy versus a curve, that will be an interesting thing to look at. Ball control reminds me of Zinedine Zidane, actually. I think there's nobody better in ball control than Zidane, I think historically. Okay, so I think this is going to be the free kick features primarily. Is there anything else we have? Penalties, positioning, reactions. Yeah, short power we'll look at shortly. Okay, let's look at that one. And we can identify the good free kick specialists on the basis of our data. So if I'm building my fantasy team, these are going to be my best free kick features. Okay, so naturally the top free kick takers will be Messi. Okay, so in terms of free kick accuracy and curve, this is the best one. Okay, we can also probably look at shot power. Okay, nothing like it. If you can add a bit of shot power, then the goalkeeper will have absolutely no chance. You've got free kick accuracy, you've got curve, and you also got shot power. I think maybe the player that will fit the bill here will be Cristiano Ronaldo. He probably fits all the three things very well. He's a very accurate taker as well. It is some other player you can also mention. So we can look at it. And little hard to segregate the greens completely, but we can get an idea. And there are lots of outliers you're able to see along the way. So you're able to see the very interesting. Look at Messi. Messi is a very accurate free kick taker. Messi also generates very good curves, but Messi is not good in shot power. See, the green color is kind of a little less greener. So very interesting. So you're able to see so Messi is great in free kicks, but in terms of power, it's not good. This is like a scale from 2 to 95. 2 means no shot power, and 95 means very high shot power. And we can look at this thing and see that who are the players with the highest shot power. Most of them are lying somewhere here. Most of them are in this particular zone. And I think a good way to look at this will be also incorporate the weight feature. Maybe the weight will also be a good contributor to good shot power. We can look at the weight of the player, and based on that, So I think you can look at a Ronaldo who will probably come somewhere here. Okay, so Ronaldo will be coming somewhere here as well. So in terms of shot power, definitely Ronaldo will be winning. So we can just go back and maybe change the dimensions a little. So we can look at free kick accuracy versus curve. and we can go back and probably take short power somewhere here. We can probably go back and take this one somewhere here. So this is free kick accuracy versus short power, and then the curve part we can go back and put in the colors. This is also a good one we can drive. Okay, so in terms of shot power, we can probably see the player with the highest shot power. Ronaldo will be again right up at the top, but in terms of accuracy, he's not that good. You can go back and see. So this will again be very, very subjective. Now, picking up the fantasy team will not only be based on a few features. So the coach will have to figure out what is more important for you, right? Is power more important for you? And that also depends on the opposition team. And you'll not only go back and study your own team, you will not only go back and pick up players with the highest ratings for a particular attribute, but you will also go back and pick up players with opposing players. Let's say the opposing goalkeeper that you have, what kind of attributes does that goalkeeper have? Study the history of that goalkeeper's matches, and you will pick up a team on the basis of that. Okay, so maybe if you see the opposing goalkeeper has typically missed free kicks when they have been shot at a long distance, with a high power, Ronaldo is going to suit the bill. Ronaldo is very good in that kind of thing, or at least even Hulk, a very, very good free kick taker. Kolarov is also excellent, very powerful free kick taker. If you know Kolarov, Kolarov is one of the best free kick takers, in fact, in terms of accuracy also. And now you can go back and also incorporate the curve dimension, and that becomes a deadly combination. If you're also able to have players which generate good curves, that's goes back and gives you a deadly combination. Okay, in a way. So maybe these are the kind of footballers we will choose. Maybe something like a Shaqiri. So somebody who has like an equal balance of all the three parameters. Okay. All right. Yeah, exactly. Power and curve will have a negative. We can look at that as well. Power and curve will have a negative correlation. Okay, we can look at that as well. Not entirely negative, but we are able to see that we are seeing something like this. It's positive only, but that's also interesting one. So if you have a very high shot power, then the curve will also be high for certain players. But generally we are seeing players who have very high shot power but very low curve, and players who have got extremely high shot power, like Ronaldo and Ronaldo, but still they're able to generate curves. So that again depends. So, like I think the best one will be probably like a G Bale, who has got extremely high shot power and also at the same time has 90 plus curve. And this is going to be more of a rule that you set. So who are the best free kick takers? You can define a rule and say my best free kick takers are those players who have high shot power and high curve both. Okay. All right. Okay. Wonderful, guys. I think we're getting some very good insights. This process carries on, and the whole idea was to get you started. I will really look forward to seeing what sort of fantasy teams that you are able to build. And we at upGrad would like to hear from you. People will have different thoughts. Others also will have different ways you would have approached the problem. There's a lot you can do. This will occupy your entire 2 weeks, I'm sure. There's so much more we can do in this entire data set. But I hope this session was to get you started, and at least all of you got some intuition into what data science is and picking up an interesting data set to maybe to build interest in the world of football as well. Yeah. Wonderful. I know it's been a little bit of a long session, but thank you for staying put. I wanted to take you through as much detail as I could in the time that we had. And with that, I'll pass it over to the team. I'll pass it over to Khushbu, and it's been a pleasure to be part of the session with all of you. So thank you, everybody. And I think I'll hand it over to Khushbu here. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much. It was really great and it was really helpful. I hope people have got lots of tips and tricks from you. Yeah, so moving towards the end, I have one feedback poll to raise.
Thank you.
People, this feedback poll is very important for us to know what is the feedback from your end, what you have understood and what you are expecting from us next. So please do fill out the poll. I have already launched the poll. I'll request everyone to just take out your 10 seconds. It has only two questions, 2 to 3 questions. Yeah. I can see only 60% people have participated in the poll. I'll request everyone, people, just before you leave from the webinar, I'll request take out your 10 seconds and please do fill out the feedback. All right, I will just end the poll. Great, great response from you all. All right, so before just ending the webinar, let's then, do you have anything to just add on?
No, I think all good. I think once again, it was very enjoyable to have the audience participate, and I hope I hope all of you follow through, and hopefully the team of your choice wins this tournament. Yeah, yeah.
Great. Okay, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.